Cops try to prosecute black woman until she proves she's an official from the Pentagon. Sirens wailed, slicing through the humid evening air as Maya Jackson stood frozen, her heart pounding like a war drum. Handcuffs glinted in the fading light, inches from her wrists, as two officers barked orders, their voices dripping with contempt. She was no stranger to scrutiny, but this moment surrounded by flashing lights and accusing glares on a crowded D.C. street felt like a trap snapping shut. Maya, a black woman in her late 30s, had faced prejudice before, but never had it threatened to unravel her life so completely. Tonight, a routine walk home from the Pentagon, where she served as a senior cybersecurity official, had spiraled into a nightmare. It started with a glance. Maya had been hurrying down 14th Street, her briefcase swinging, her mind still tangled in classified briefings, when she noticed a patrol car trailing her. She quickened her pace, her heels clicking against the pavement, but the car kept pace, its presence a silent accusation. When she turned into an alley to cut through to her apartment, the sirens blared, and two officers leapt out, shouting for her to stop. "Hands up! Now!" one bellowed, his hand hovering over his gun. Maya complied, her pulse racing, but her voice was steady. "I'm a federal employee. You're making a mistake." The officers didn't listen. They saw her dark skin, her confident posture, and assumed guilt. "We got a call about a suspect matching your description." The taller one, Officer Reynolds, sneered. "Breaking and entering 2 blocks over." Maya's stomach twisted. She knew the game racial profiling dressed up as protocol. The suspect description was vague: black, female, mid-30s. It could have been anyone, but it was always her. Always someone who looked like her. The crowd gathering at the alley's mouth whispered and pointed, phones raised, capturing the scene. Maya felt their eyes, a mix of pity and judgment, but she refused to break. "You have the wrong person," she said, her voice cutting through the tension. "Check my ID. I work for the Department of Defense." The second officer, a younger man named Carter, scoffed, snatching her badge from her outstretched hand. He squinted at it, then tossed it to the ground like trash. "Fake," he muttered. "Nice try." Maya's blood boiled. That badge, earned through years of grueling work and sacrifice, was her shield. To them, it was nothing. The cuffs clicked closer, and the crowd's murmurs grew louder, a chorus of doubt. But Maya wasn't just anyone. She'd faced worse covert operations, high-stakes negotiations, and the relentless grind of being a black woman in a world that often refused to see her worth. She straightened, her voice rising with authority. "Call the Pentagon. Verify my clearance. I'm not who you think I am." The officers hesitated, exchanging glances. Reynolds smirked, but Carter's eyes flickered with doubt. The crowd pressed closer, their phones still rolling, amplifying the moment. Maya's heart thundered, but she held her ground, her gaze locked on Reynolds. This was her stand, her truth against their bias. The alley felt like a pressure cooker, the air thick with unspoken accusations. Maya's mind raced, replaying every moment that led here, every microaggression, every time she'd been followed in a store or questioned at a checkpoint. She thought of her grandmother, who'd marched for civil rights, and her father, who'd taught her to never bow to injustice. This wasn't just about her. It was about every person who'd been judged by their skin instead of their character. She wouldn't let them win. Carter finally picked up her badge, his fingers trembling slightly as he radioed dispatch. "Run this name, Maya Jackson, Department of Defense." Minutes stretched like hours, the crowd's whispers a low hum. Maya stood tall, her eyes never leaving the officers. Then the radio crackled. "Confirmed. Maya Jackson, Senior Official, Pentagon. Active clearance, Level 4. The words hit like a thunderclap. Reynolds' smirk vanished, replaced by a scowl. Carter's face paled. The crowd erupted, some cheering, others shouting at the officers. Maya didn't move, her expression a mix of defiance and exhaustion. The cuffs were never fastened. Reynolds muttered something about a mix-up, but Maya wasn't listening. She retrieved her badge, brushing off the dirt, and walked past them, her head high. The crowd parted, some clapping, others filming her exit. She didn't look back. The wooden bulletin board on the lamppost caught her eye as she left the alley, its chalked message blazing in the dusk. Truth fights back. It felt like a promise. At home, Maya sank into her couch, the weight of the night crashing over her. She wasn't naive. She knew this wasn't the end. Tomorrow, she'd file a formal complaint, demand accountability. But tonight, she let herself feel the victory, however small. She'd face the system and won, not just for herself, but for everyone who'd ever been misjudged. Her badge gleamed on the table, a symbol of her truth. The world might not change overnight, but Maya Jackson would keep fighting one battle at a time. Thank you for listening. If you find it interesting, please like and subscribe to follow the next stories.